All right, guys, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started. Wow, I had to manage some Amazon sitting here as it just exploded. Old Amazon, man. That's old Amazon going up $100 in a day. We'll see if it's back. We have a lot to debrief. And let's go. Long Amazon, long AMC covered, short Tesla. And then I got out of my rut trades yesterday. We'll debrief some of those as well because that was a little bit of a dog fight into the close yesterday. Really, I haven't seen that in a while, man. A couple of people asking for the link to yesterday's replay. It's right here from the whatchamacallit, from the Hunter's Brief. Let me paste that in there. And then if you want to become a hunter, it's right there. You can click on that. All right. Wow. Amazon's still going up. Let me make sure I don't have any short calls on anymore. Nope. We'll talk about how I managed this and what's going on and all sorts of stuff in a couple of minutes because it's insanity, which is good, but it's not good. This really, none of it is good. And we'll talk about what's going on. Real quick, I want to debrief you on some stuff that is just absolutely horrific. So yesterday, buried in all the Democrats getting destroyed news, which of course they don't believe happened, right? They believe that they lost because they're not liberal enough. Isn't that insane? That's where we are in this country. Well, this clearly shows that we have to spend more money, and it's all the racist in Virginia, right? So 19% of the independents that swung away from Biden to this guy are racist. Nothing makes parents more happy than being told they're racist and you can't be involved in their education because we want to tell you your kids are racist. But anyway, buried in everything yesterday is this. Hold on, I got to keep some Amazon calls under the trigger here. Not 3475, 3450s. Gonna fire some short calls. That's a monster run. We still got a jobs report on Friday, man. Which is going to be interesting. Oh, I might have to come at the bid here. I'll do it when we're talking. Let's just get going. So the Pentagon, this is funny. The Pentagon, it's not funny. The Pentagon review finds no misconduct or legal violations in a Kabul drone strike that killed children. And again, but slowly. And it's funny because this guy's a 3-star general, fighter pilot. Not one Air Medal, Silver Star, Flying Cross, nothing. He's a 3-star fighter pilot who's done nothing in his career. He's essentially a guard baby. I think like Fresno, some other place. So a guy who's never been in combat chaired a board that said everything was fine. This is the most awful thing I've seen come out of the Pentagon in a while. I posted this on an online forum on Facebook. It's called the Old Fighter Pilots Group. People are going insane. Folks, this was not a tick. Anybody know what tick means? Troops in contact. This wasn't like, holy shit, Navy SEALs are pinned down, Marines are pinned down, fog of battle, boom, launch. This wasn't that. This was a deliberate, we got to go get somebody or we look like schmucks attack. This was a knee-jerk reaction that killed 7 children. In his report, he actually says, well, kind of close towards the end, we saw that there might be kids in the car, but we weren't 100% sure that there were kids in the car. What did you just say? dude who's never seen any actual flying experience. We had a saying in our squadron in flying fighters, if there's any doubt, there's no doubt. If there's any doubt, there's no doubt. If there's any doubt, you don't take the damn shot. Are you insane? I've never seen anything like this. So the Pentagon investigates itself and everybody's cleared. It's disgusting. I'm embarrassed that I wore the uniform and 13 children were killed. Joe Biden, blood on his hands. Nobody cares. If Donald Trump had done this and Donald Trump's Pentagon had kind of said, yeah, everything's fine, Democrats would be storming the White House right now. It's absolutely insane, guys. I've never seen anything like it. I'm going to sit on my hands with Amazon for now. All right. So that's gross. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Nobody is responsible for killing 7 children. That's where your country is now. I come from the Navy where this is just absolutely insane. If you are the captain of a ship and it runs aground, the commanding officer of the USS Connecticut, it's in the South Pacific. It hits something. They're like, we think it hits like some uncharted something, reef or something. I don't think it did. I think it hit a Chinese drone submarine, but that's between me and people who told me that. Anyway, the dude got clipped. He's fired. Well, it was uncharted. Doesn't matter. He's the commanding officer. He's clipped. The Navy has a different idea of responsibility than a lot of people. Hell, Navy football, the Naval Academy football team has a different idea of responsibility than the military. Navy football started 0-2. They fired the offensive coordinator. 13 kids get killed, or 7 kids get killed, 13 Marines and everything, and nobody's responsible. General Milley's still there. Lloyd Austin is still there. Peter Doocy, who's one of the best reporters in this country, cornered Joe Biden yesterday about the $450,000 payments to illegal immigrants. Well, if you guys keep talking about it, more people are going to come. That was his initial answer. Doocy's like, is that going to happen? He's like, if you do this, isn't that going to make the immigrant crisis worse? And Biden's response was, well, if you keep talking about it, it'll make it worse. And then he pressed him and said, are you going to pay illegal immigrant families $450,000? He's like, it's garbage. It's not going to happen. What did the ACLU do minutes after that speech? He's lying. The president clearly forgets that that's exactly what we're going to do. President Biden may not have been fully briefed about the actions his Justice Department is taking. Wow. We respectfully remind the president that blah, blah, blah. He called these actions criminal in a debate with the president and campaigned to rectify and remedy the situation. So the ACLU came out yesterday, folks, and said this is going to happen. Who do you believe? Let's all not type the words ACLU. I don't believe Joe Biden. I think they're absolutely going to pay these people. There's just your quick update on things you didn't hear about yesterday. They're absolutely going to get paid. This just is heartbreaking to me as a fighter pilot. This is just insane. The fact that in his brief he said, well, towards the end, we kind of got some intel that said there might be kids in the car, but we weren't 100. So here's the new standard. If you're not 100% that there's civilians in there, let's go ahead and kill them. Back in my day, it was the exact opposite. The mistake strike happened despite prudent measures to prevent civilian deaths. Oh, that's pretty damn prudent. Awful. All right, let's get to trading. So yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, Dennis, look at you, man. Nice job, Dennis. Let me grab that real quick. Dennis says, Wiz, about a year ago in AR, you said to place a synthetic call on Microsoft. I did. It's now up 60,000. Patience grasshopper. I love it, man. Good for you. That's awesome. That was a good position. I guess I should have been in it. That's just awesome. I love hearing that. Nice job. All right. So I got to be honest with you, man. I'm absolutely stunned. Yeah, exactly. He's only going to pay him $400,000, right, to match what service members get. Inflation debate hangs over stock market's record run. So here, let's debrief what happened yesterday. First, what happened yesterday is absolutely shocking. Hang on one second. I have to swap out headsets here. Oops, wrong one. Forgot to charge my headset yesterday after being on like 90 calls after the Fed meeting. Absolutely unbelievable, Jerome. Well, you know what? It isn't. It isn't unbelievable, Jerome Powell. First, let's just go mainly strategic. I'm getting out of the way. I already closed my my Jan, whatever they were, Jan 23, 3,900 calls on Amazon. I'm getting out of the way. I'm moving to cash, a lot of cash. This is insane, right? So when things are insane, there's a couple things you can do. You can join it, or you can get out of the way for a little bit. I'm getting out of the way for a little bit. I actually kind of listened to Amazon earnings. I kind of listened to everybody else's earnings going, yeah, this is a shitstorm coming. Supply chain, inflation, wages, you name it, everything sucks. But what happened? It doesn't matter what they said, Wiz. It only, if the market's doing something that you don't think it should be doing, you're wrong, not it. Okay? So what happened yesterday was, we talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about it in more detail. I said, Jerome Powell, right? He saw Ben Bernanke. He saw what happened the last time we had a taper. We had what we call a taper tantrum. That happened, folks, right? He saw it, he lived through it, and I guess didn't want to live through it again. I mean, good on him. Awesome. Good on him. So what Jerome Powell did yesterday from a high level, folks, if there is such a thing, is you ready for this? We were talking about this on our closing call, a dovish taper. I can't remember the last time we had a press conference where bad news was delivered in just such an incredibly dovish way. He still sat there and said, inflation, there ain't no transitory. It's going to be up here for a while. Even the Steve Leisman guy, who I can't stand from CNBC, was a little incredulous. So, yeah, exactly. We know that the Fed chiefs do insider trading, so clearly they have to keep the markets up. So I was stunned yesterday. I'm like, and then the market just kept going up. Our whatchamacallit, the one rut trade. So I had one winning SPX, a losing SPX, a winning rut, and a losing rut. Essentially a scratch for the week. That was a hell of a lot of work to be a scratch with those trades. But let's step through what happened yesterday, because I absolutely guarantee you that, well, let's just go through it. Some investors, me, think the Fed will be forced to swiftly raise rates next year to rein in inflation and keep the economy stable. So Jerome Powell yesterday made a deal with the devil. He more or less said, I'm on fire. Both engines are out. but I'm still going to try a soft landing. As everybody in the back, the passengers know the engines are on fire. They're looking out the wings. He's trying to pull a Sully, right? And he can. The odds of that are slim to none and slim left town. So I personally don't believe it's going to happen. I've made 3 or 4 career calls at a massive high level like this that have been right. I would love to be wrong. I'm not. So let's step through this. So, excuse me. Some traders stuck with wagers on stably high inflation, right? Underlining a divergence in expectations between segments of the bond market and the central bank. That's what's really funny. He assured investors that the central bank won't be overly aggressive with rate hikes, even as he said they're going to be done by the summer. He said that the bank believes that the inflation will dip by the second or third quarter of next year. That's absolutely insane. Again, folks, those who can't teach or go into government. But some investors, me included, think persistent inflation may enforce officials to raise rates several times in 2022. They tried to nail him down yesterday on that. Well, it literally was a pay no attention to the inflation speech. I should have learned, guys. I failed, right? I should have learned the last 90 speeches this guy gave. He's like, listen to me. Stop it. Don't worry about it. I'm being way too strategic. You really have to be bipolar in this market. You can go one eye out here, which I'm going to talk about because we're in accelerated retirement, and one eye right here. The one eye right here has to be bullish, period. Listen to the dude. Okay, I will. I'll be tactical with a T over here, but strategic, man. There's no way on God's green earth this man is going to be right. So why is the market up, Wiz? Because nobody gives a shit. I do. A lot of people I trade with do of this. This is where you make money, guys. And yeah, obviously you can make money here tactically. I just don't like doing that. I did the 2 RUT trades, the 2 SPX trades this week, and I'm exhausted. I don't like doing that. Shouldn't have done the trades yesterday, but in every other Fed meeting when Jerome Powell's done stuff like this, you get the initial spike, and as the dude talks, the market gives it back. Not yesterday. The market kept going up and up and up, and it's still going up today. Okay? So let's keep going because we have got to unpack this, folks. So he's just sitting here going, the Fed funds futures rates, this is what traders look for direction, showed a chance of at least 3 increases next year to about 40%. That's up 5% from a month earlier. So the market, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't believe what the dude says. The market is the market. That's what the price is. Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what Jerome Powell says. This is what the market is doing, right? Indications that the global central banks are preparing to tighten monetary policy, to fight rising consumer prices is it. And here's the funny thing. They all talk, Christine Lagarde and Kuroda or whoever. Yeah, is it still Kuroda? Whoever. But all these central banks folks kind of talk, but they also, at the end of the day, they just give a shit about what? Their own bank. Can you imagine when, not if, they all look at each other and they're like, well, shit, we're on fire. We're going to have to, don't tighten because I'm going to have to, I'm going to beat you to it. What if all the central banks decide to tighten like around the same time? Okay. At the same time, investors have pared back their longer expectations of the economy. Betting that a combo of higher inflation and gradually climbing rates will cool U.S. growth. Again, folks, you got to use the wisdom. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow, right? It's a little cute wisdom, but it's truth. Interest rates are low, stocks will go. Interest rates are high, stocks will die. Okay? So, people are concerned these high prices might last longer than the time frames the Fed is mentioning. Duh. Steady inflation and expectations for higher rates could specifically curb enthusiasm for shares of fast-growing companies such as Tesla. Tesla is insane. The Bank of America monthly survey of fund managers, it's a great survey, showed that inflation was the top risk for investors, gauging factors that could halt the broad market rally. So this is where you have to go tactical and strategic. Tactical was yesterday Jerome Powell saying, stop asking me about interest rates going up. Did you not hear me? To tell you to stop worrying about that. So yesterday the market did that. And it's kind of got some follow through today. Other people like me also do this. What is he not telling you to worry about that you should be worried about? Because you and I live in the real world, in the real world. Bond investors are a little concerned that the Fed is not addressing the inflation risks. The market is starting to price in the potential for inflation to overshoot in the long run. Why would they feel like this? Because guess what? They've frequently been wrong-footed by the Fed's pace of interest rate increases in the past decade, right? And often priced in more aggressive moves by the central bank only to be disappointed. Aha. This dude's actually saying that 2 increases in 2022 are excessive. So investors are looking ahead to Friday's jobs report. Got it. Many expected questions about the path of rate increases to dictate investor sentiment going forward. So, folks, you have to answer this question. Is the Fed literally just going to sit here as we all burn to death in inflation? If you listened to the man's speech yesterday, the answer is yes. Don't care about raising interest rates, Wiz. So since we're sitting in accelerated retirement, which we're usually looking longer dated, we have to have that kind of strategic versus tactical view. I absolutely am convinced after my closing call yesterday in my mastermind group, as are people I respect and trust. I mean, a lot of people smarter than me in this group. Everybody, well, if everybody's believing the same thing, then nobody's thinking. That's nobody. It really is a tactical versus strategic view of the market right now. Okay, so you have to decide what you want to do. We had a good debate, I think, with Scott. Scott over in Max, like, hey man, I stopped trading like 7 days out. I get what he's saying, but you really kind of do have to look out as well, because right now you look at a Netflix, you look at a Tesla. If or when we get something out here that sucks, or that the market finally wakes up to the fact that inflation is raging, and remember a couple times in the past 10 months, 11 months, where we had a 10-year above 1.6, and what happened? We had 4 or 5 tech wrecks this year. Does everybody remember this? Let's debrief this year. We've had tech wrecks this year that were like, holy shit, inflation. Jerome Powell, no inflation. Well, we kind of see it. We're eating it or not. We're eating less of because we can't. Don't worry about it. So, folks, we've had tech wrecks that have been cooled off by the Fed saying, don't worry about inflation. What about, I can't believe I'm going to say this. What about when inflation actually hits? It actually has hit, Wiz, but he said not to worry about it. Okay, well, what happens when, not if, the market actually starts to worry about it, guys? Did you not listen to Amazon? Inflation's raging. We're having to pay people more. Supply chain issues. Amazon up $200 since those comments. So I'm telling you, man, the markets can remain irrational longer. You can say solvent, but you have got to be. We're going to talk today about having a bearish strike list, man. You have got to be ready to pull the trigger, just like COVID crash a year ago. Because when, not if, the market decides inflation is insane and the Fed missed it, let me get this out of the way. There is an absolute possibility that the Fed nails it. Jerome Powell brings this flaming hulk of shit safely to a stop on the runway. I'll be the first to eat my hat and give the guy the Medal of Whiz. I would love for that to happen. Right? But do you see what's coming? I mean, if you don't believe any of that, if you just think he is going to do that, you got to be buying with both hands. Buy everything here. Buy Tesla, buy Amazon, buy Netflix, buy everything. Stay bullish. Or, yeah, so that's kind of the strategic view. Wiz, going to be a safe landing. I'm listening to the dude. He says not to worry about inflation, so I'm not going to worry about inflation. Okay, get strategic. Go out. Add to your Microsoft. Run to Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. Everything's going to be great. Do it. Get bullish right now. Or, so that's the first choice. Second choice is to get a bearish list together for strategic in case he's wrong, which we'll talk about. While, I guess, 2.5 choice number 2.5, is to do that, but also trade tactically. Kind of a safe thing to do right now. I'm a good tactical trader and a shitty tactical trader. That's why I don't like doing it. I can be both. I go through spells of, oh my God, I'm absolutely insane on fire. And then I can't believe I suck this bad. That's why I don't like it. Consistency is tough in tactical trading. Some of my best friends sit here for 12 hours a day and stare at the screen. And that's exactly what they'll tell you. I'm on fire and I'm on fire. I don't like that feeling. Okay, so since we're in AR, let's talk about the strategery out here. Because, guys, listen to me. Nancy Pelosi, so the Democrats just sat here this week and got smacked in the face. They literally got punched in the face. And the response is, well, that's because we didn't pass bigger and shittier stuff. What? It's because you're all racist and you wanted more stuff. You want more government and you want us to spend more money. Thank God for Joe Manchin. So that's a good way to put it, Punch. The market is on the road to Abilene. A group of people collectively decide on a course of action that is counter to the preferences of many or all of the individuals. I'd agree with that. But remember, so that when the market is this irrational, I tend to not join it. I tend to get out of the way. And I'm going to get on my offensive perch to roll in hot. We've talked about this many times. I don't have FOMO. I'm not a FOMO guy. After doing this for 3 decades, you see cycles. This was a good read here. We're near the very end. Now, people who have been saying this for the past year keep getting run over. So we talked about the NASDAQ and the gamut, all sorts of stuff going on, and this guy kind of rolls in and just he kind of matches everything we just said. This is a pretty good read. Yeah, I can share this. And remember, it's funny because all the crypto folks are like, well, Bitcoin will survive anything. Folks, when everything's going up, there's no correlation right now, right? The Bitcoin is a hedge for inflation type of thing. That looks good on paper until when everything crashes because of inflation, Bitcoin ain't going to go through the roof. It's just, I'm telling you guys, especially when margin calls start coming, right? Did you see Coinbase or whatever is going to like allow margin up to $1 million for crypto or something like that? I'm like, oh man, nothing can go wrong with that. Wiz, have agreed with you on when, not if, market gets rational in response to inflation, but I'm starting to feel like a guy who barks about the crash coming, gets wiped for a couple of years, and then claims he's right when it happens. John, that's why I'm glad you wrote that. First of all, read this, but I don't like. I'm not that guy, right? Harry Dent's that guy. He's saying the market's going to implode for 30 years, and when it does, every once in a while he says he's right. That ain't me. This is why I'm talking about being bipolar today. Don't be that guy, right? You can keep this strategic view to yourself out here, right? This is why this side of the chart, folks, is white. There ain't no dates down here, are there? This is why I love using stock charts, is because it allows me to have a right side of the chart that is absolutely, completely blank. So it could be here, it could be here, it could be here, your strategic outlook. It moves. Mine moves. But so John, trade this tactically if you want, or don't. Folks, whenever I kind of put a question mark out here, you guys know what I tend to do. I tend to move to cash. Question mark equals cash. I have no problem. I'm going to keep a little bit of Amazon on. I kept on my my 3,500 calls, these that are looking good, that are helping a little bit of my wounds today from the Amazon short calls, man. I did not, it's my fault. I did not expect a super dovish taper. That's exactly that's exactly man, I should have. See, this is why we debrief. And whenever I'm wrong, man, I'll unzip the flight suit and take it right in the chest. Throw that spear. I should have expected a dovish taper. I mean, the dudes lived through a taper tantrum. Jerome Powell literally in 2012 said something about, yeah, we got to keep equities up. And I wonder if they have divested themselves of their insider trading portfolios. Did they sell all their shit? Well, if they did, if they didn't, they probably need to do it now. A couple quick things, and then we'll talk our bearish. Hertz will have to wait for Teslas, just like other buyers. Dude, this sounds like a weird chick that's trying to date you, or dude that's trying to date you for whatever. Elon Musk was like, I have no idea what this company's talking about. They're in line like everybody else, but Hertz just keeps sitting here like, yay, everything's great. HTVZ. What you want to talk about insider? This is outsider trading. I love this. I love whoever in corporate said, hey man, let's pump our stock up. Look at this Elon Musk Tesla leak. This is an Axe Capital move right there. The fact that Elon Musk came out and said, hey man, I don't know what they're talking about. They haven't they're in line like everybody else. And they're paying the same as everybody else. Hertz came out that day and said, we don't know what Elon Musk is talking about. I've never seen anything like this, man. This is some weird shit. And again, you could day trade this or do whatever you want. That just ain't me. I'm not in the mood to do any of that. I might sell some 3,500s out the Friday real quick on Amazon. See if it's finally taking a break here. Oops. Back into my normal Amazon selling calls that aren't insane. That was a monster run out of Amazon. Jesus. Okay, so now let's talk about, so tactically, again, I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm a good tactical trader and I'm a shitty tactical trader. I guess that works out to average. I just don't like doing it. There are days when I take shots of opportunity with SPX or these Amazon short calls and things are fantastic. And there are days where I just get, yesterday, run over by a steamroller trying to pick up dimes. It's just not smart. So I don't like the tactical trading. So you have to answer this for yourself. If you're going to be a tactical trader, well, first of all, make that decision. I'm not. Instead of tactical trading, I move to cash. Okay, because again, this is on your screen is insanity, folks. This just literally is insane. That's insanity. And it can obviously keep doing this. But until further notice, math still matters, guys. I mean, this is the valuation of Tesla, like a $1.2 trillion. You're telling me in a 2-week period, this stock going up like 30% is just going to keep going up? First answer, yeah, it can. Second answer, it probably won't. So in times like this where I do decide, you know what, it is time to sit on my hands. This is when I start. It's literally on my whiteboard I'm staring at across from me. You got to start getting your I call it the to list. Targets of opportunities. These are things that I don't trade usually, but if or when something kind of shakes this market, they will pull back. First one, obviously, I just wrote about Tesla. I got that whatever it's called, bear put spread down at 8 something. I mean, my God. But listen to me. First of all, don't do any of this. You're here to listen to my brief. First of all, don't do any of this if you want to keep tactically trading. If you think Tesla is going to keep going up, you have got to buy calls. Folks, I sit here on this Twitter feed. I follow like business and finance. 99% of the business and finance thread on Twitter right now is Bitcoin and Tesla, talking about, Tesla will be at $2,000 by Christmas. It can be, folks. It absolutely can. Whoa. Breaking. FBI agents arrest Dachenko. Oh, yeah. He was the source of the Clinton-funded steal. Uh-oh. What's that attorney general doing work in the background? Wow. So, Eliza, you are not following the trend of EV cars. Eliza, you nailed it. I absolutely am not following the trend of that. But Eliza, do you think that Tesla's just going to keep going up to 2,000 by Christmas? So, Eliza, right now, Tesla is worth 10 car companies right now. Here's what I am following in the EV space. Amazon holds a 20% stake in Rivian. $3.8 billion. So here's what I know about the EV space. Is Tesla the only company that makes EVs? That's about what I know of the space. The answer is no. Hell, around Boca now, I see all these Porsche Taycans. I'm a gas guzzler. My 911 takes fuel. My point being is this: Tesla is like crypto, folks. It's a cult. There's a Scientologist cult-like attitude towards it. So, Bezos sold a ton of shares yesterday. Sold a ton of shares in what? Amazon? I did not see that. Can you give me the source of that? That's a little weird that Jeff Bezos sold a ton of shares yesterday, and this happens. Can you give me the source of that? I didn't see that. If it is, I guarantee you it's a part of his normal scheduled 13F sales. Anyway, let's stay on topics, guys. Come up with, it's his normal yearly shares, folks. I don't care about that. Exactly, Andrew. Part of the value of your service is members learning to fly their own craft. You got it, man. That's exactly what I'm trying to do here. So let me stay on target. So, but I'm trying to be a good guy here and help you out with some due diligence. Everything I'm saying, folks, if you don't agree with it, don't do it, or do the exact opposite. This is the beauty of trading options. The beauty of trading options, guys, is I think everything you're saying is bullshit. Hell, there are people who are TGO members here who do that. Dude, I love your briefs. Sometimes I do the exact opposite of what you're saying. I think that's fantastic. Then I'm doing my job. If I'm presenting information in a way that you make an independent decision and say, yeah, okay, I'm going to red team that and trade based off of it. So if you think Tesla's going to keep going up, buy calls right now. Buy the December 2000 calls. Listen to the people on Twitter. Listen to the people that go, you have no idea what you're talking about, Wiz, and it's going to 2000. It's a market, guys. The stocks go up. There's got to be a buyer and there's got to be a seller, man. Let's take a look at let's go out to December. December 1300 strikes, got some open interest. Gotta present both sides. Absolutely. I mean, seriously, people at Tesla at 2000, it can happen, folks. I mean, so let's talk that it can. Look, there you go. Well, come on. 836, 1800, 2000, 1650. So there are, there's upside call activity, man. 1300's got 2800. So we're in two discussions here. Let's stay in one. The trading it tactically. So you can do two things. You can be right in both of these, folks. This is why we're in accelerated retirement. You can do both. You can say, hey, man, Tesla is going to be at 2000 by Christmas. Do it. Buy upside calls. Nice job, Arthur. Synthetic Tesla options are up $100,000. Nicely job. Nice job, man. So let's get back on target here. Trade it tactically if you want. I am not. I am not a good Tesla tactical trader. I admit that. So that's why I tend to not. However, I'm going to be a strategic Tesla trader and think about out here. And folks, we have people who aren't buying vanilla for Thanksgiving this year to make pies. I don't think I can remember. No, maybe when I was a kid, my mom complaining about this when it was in the 70s about food prices and not being able to buy. Folks, man, I grew up 6 Irish Catholic kids in a poor family in South Jersey. I know about inflation. So the fact that inflation is raging, I don't care what the stock is doing, folks. Any stock is doing. I care about what people are doing because math matters eventually. I got to be honest with you. I was a little stunned at the Amazon earnings. I nailed the last, not this one, the previous Amazon earnings. I'm like, it's going to be good, but not good. And then boom, you know what happened? I nailed it. This one, I'm stunned that Amazon didn't go even lower based on what Andy Jassy said about Christmas and inflation and wages. I get it. The market is forward looking. The market's saying, okay, they're going to get through all that shit. How many of you in this room think we are just going to have a rip your face off Black Friday and Cyber Monday? It's just going to be insanely good, Wiz. Just you can't believe how good it's going to be. Ken? Exactly. I remember eating hamburger helper until my head exploded. I'm with you, man. What I'm getting at, guys, since we're there you go, Ken, unsure, is have two lists standing by. Have your tactical trading list, but you have got to have up on your whiteboard or in your trade journal out here into the white space, man, the high flyers that you are going to pound into the dirt. One of the reasons I wrote a book called The COVID Crash is because when I'm like, that's it, done. We pounded shit into the dirt. I remember getting, you guys remember this? I remember getting an email from Aspen. I'm like, they're close. I'm like, done. We pounded Mountain into the dirt. We pounded everything. Cruise ships, airlines. We destroyed everything. Pounded that shit into the dirt, guys, didn't we? That's all I'm getting at today is to have your pound shit into the dirt stuff ready to go. If Jerome Powell is not going to land this plane safely. That's the point of today's brief. You can sit here. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and tactically trade. I'm not going to sit here and step in front of a train. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to move to cash, keep some of my Amazon, but I'm going to watch, man. I am going to watch. I want to have a Merry Christmas. I want people to go beat the shit out of each other for a Furby or a Cabbage Patch Kid. That's how old I am. I want that to happen, folks. I just don't think it's going to. Somebody explain to me how that's going to happen when every day on the news you're seeing people complaining about my Facebook thread is full of people taking pictures of the gas pump. It's old. It's annoying at this point. Yeah, I get that they're putting little Biden did this stickers get next to it, and it's a little funny, but you get past that, folks. Name for me the last time you can remember this happening. You can't. Unless you're as old as I am, and it's the 70s. It is not in your lifetime, folks. I saw that, yeah. People are going to be swimming out to cargo ships for their Black Friday sales. Did you see yesterday as well, buried in the Democrats says everybody's racist and they need to pass more shit news, that the ports aren't open 24/7. What Joe Biden said 3 weeks ago is a lie. I saw the head of the truckers union. He's like, it's not there. No, we're still working normal hours. I don't know what you're thinking. The head of the truck drivers union's like, we're sick of being the punching bag. It ain't our fault. Well, the supply chain issue is very complicated, Wiz. I know it is, but I'm taking baby leave for 3 months. Oh, that's great. At the height of a crisis, Mayor Pete, I'm going to South Bend tomorrow. Or no, Saturday. No, tomorrow. I'll be in South Bend tomorrow. Mayor Pete, well, I worked on baby leave. Oh, that's great. So when I give baby leave to my employees, I'm going to be able to tell them to work as well. Thanks for setting the precedent. Guys, here's what I'm getting at. Even Ma will not be safe. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple. Let's repeat it. All of these tech wrecks, I'd say almost all of these tech wrecks were driven by what? How many times in briefs, folks, I rarely talk about bonds, but for 3 or 4 tech wrecks this year, what happened? The 10 years above 1.5, there goes tech. Every one of those, I said, buy it. So what happens, folks? All of these, I get it. The Jerome Powell raced out and said, you're not hearing me. Don't worry about inflation. Inflation, folks, back here was kind of an ember. It was smoking. Right now, we're on fire with inflation. Joe Biden caught in a lie the other day, which isn't shocking. Donald Trump lied all the time. Okay, Joe Biden's Joe Truthful. Wages are outpacing inflation. It's the exact opposite, Mr. President. You're a liar. Inflation's up 5.5%. Wages were up 3%. But nobody cares. Like the PBS reporter lady. Mr. President, how do you think that the Republicans with these false claims of CRT, she's a PBS is a taxpayer-funded entity, and she's a partisan reporter. That hack who used to get in the fights with Donald Trump. Anyway, guys, let's start narrowing down here. You have to have a bearish list ready. Again, it makes my skin crawl, but I have to say this. This can happen. It absolutely can. If you believe that's going to happen, get bullish. Buy with both hands. Buy Ma, buy Tesla, buy Netflix, buy all the high flyers right now. Let me ask, let's just get a show of hands. How many of you think this? How many of you are bullish up here? Market at absolute record highs, and you're going to buy. Somebody tell me, and tell me what you're buying. What are you bullish? Let me share it with everybody. Who is bullish up here, and what are you buying? No. I have been wrong all year. No freaking idea. Not buying, but I think we are in a blow off top. No. VIX only. Oh, there you go, Lori. Good answer. James is buying SHOP. Bob's short-term bullish 1 week. Scared of the market right now. Might be buying puts. Good answer. Not bullish, holding Ma. NVIDIA. I have no idea what SITM is in Microsoft. Arthur is holding and buying Netflix. I just had a stupid run. I'm looking to get out of everything next couple of weeks. Chris, the Russell is way above expected move for the week. I have shorted, sitting on my hands, GDX long, psych stocks. Poncho's smart. He's buying the psych stocks. John's buying CSP and Riot. Jeff, I'm a tactical trader. I take the opportunities when they come and stick to the parameters. There you go. So Jeff that's what you do with a T here, right? If you're tactical, you can do that stuff. You can sit here and do the swing this and do that. Uranium stocks, okay. I don't even know what uranium stock if I bumped into it on the street. So tactical, you can do this right here. I'm not going to do that. If I see some opportunities, I take them, right? So here's what I'm getting at. I think about 3 people out of 100 that just answered are buying something, not including the people that said either buying puts or buying VIX. Okay? So as almost everybody in this room is kind of sitting on their hands or walking to the doors, that's kind of a good sign. Now, I can sit here and tell you the contrarian story, right? There's always one person in the room. well, if everybody's sitting on their hands or getting bearish, then I'm going to get bullish. You can do that. I think 1 out of 10 times in my entire career does well, if everybody's doing this, that's usually not the way to trade. Right? Karen, red team, right before this brief, heard the White House has pushed the deadline for 100-plus employees to get the jab to January 4th, thinking this may continue until year-end, not sure. Yeah, not in the military. They're throwing out like 9,000 people to the Air Force, which makes sense. Let's purge the military of all people who have kind of critical thinking, and let's just replace them. Because white rage and critical race theory are important to the military, not leaving Americans behind in Afghanistan. It's an absolute disgrace. SPX MACD is extreme. You got it. Look at this, guys. I'm not a big MACD guy. It's usually a little bit of a lagging indicator. When you see a MACD crossing, like right here, look what happens. Boom. A cross right here. Boom. Now look at how wide open those two are. They will cross again at some point in the future, guys, and we will get one of these. What I'm telling you, since we're in AR, is to have a bearish list ready. Keep it under the trigger. Please just take some time today to look around your cockpit and go, man, these are some high. Well, let's do that right now. I kind of listed mine. Tesla's one of them, clearly, but Tesla's insane. The market could implode and Tesla goes up to 10,000. Goose said Tesla 3 times. Tesla. Here's why I'm adding Netflix. I'm not a big Netflix guy. You know why? Somebody tell me why Netflix has had a monster run lately. Why has Netflix had a monster run lately? 2 words. You got it. Squid Games. The only reason I've watched it twice. It started back here. Squid Games, guys. I got to be honest with you. There's only so many people in the world, and only so many people are going to watch Squid Games. They tend to do this, guys, when they have one of these big one-hit things. Oh, I forgot, man. I'm going to be driving back from South Bend on Sunday. What happened Sunday? Say it with me. What's coming out? Yosemite. Right? Or, yeah, no. The hell's the name of the thing with Kevin Costner? Yellowstone, idiot. Yosemite. I had a Y. So, guys, somebody said people stuck at home. People aren't stuck at home, at least not in this. This is a high flyer, though, folks. That anything that's taken off on a run, kind of with the S&P 500, keep an eye on it. So, all right, so we got that one. So, anybody else? I know Yellowstone is on Paramount. I was talking about one-hit wonders, and that came to mind. Goose, I like that. What's her? It's Ark, right? I like that. Maybe ARRK? Is it this one? Double K, right? Well, she sucked lately. How about what happened to Zillow yesterday? Ark W, thank you. Because she has a ton of Tesla and other high flyers. This one really doesn't. I think she's actually down. One of my buddies told me the other day 2 or 3% for the year. She ain't lighting the world on fire. All right, so let's bring this to a close with. I think the Maz ain't going to be immune, and I'm not. So the main, if you asked me, because I said when we do the white space out here, look at what's down here. There ain't no dates, guys. This is why I love drawing in the white space, because there are no dates. However, if you're an astute listener, what can you draw out in the white space as far as a date that might be kind of sort of known? It doesn't have to be an exact date. Oh, and by the way, actually, let's talk about an exact date. You ready for this? Exactly 1 month from today, folks. December 3rd. What happens December 3rd? Cheating, you got it. The debt ceiling. You got it. The continuing resolution, guys. Mitch McConnell caved last time, and he was a coward. Mitch McConnell, after he caved last time, wrote a letter to Joe Biden and said, "We will not help you again. I'm giving you a couple months heads up to unfornicate yourself." Does anybody in this room think that the Democrats are going to unfornicate themselves before that date? Nobody does. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we believe Cocaine Mitch that he's not going to cave? If that in fact happens, guys, the market will implode. It will be a black swan event. Now, maybe that's why Mitch doesn't cave, but you ready for this, guys? 24 to 48 hours ago, Mitch McConnell was probably like, man, I wonder what's going to happen. Now, Mitch McConnell's like, we got the Democrats on the run. They're going to get destroyed in the midterms next year. We're just going to sit on our hands and make sure they implode. Everybody understand that? Mark, if we don't raise the debt ceiling and we default on our debt, we will have a 10 to 20% pullback in the market. In the blink of an eye, you could be, folks, this is insanity. Now, this is what happens every time we get close to one of those things, isn't it? There's no way in hell. Every time Cocaine Mitch has kind of done this, he did it under Trump. The United States cannot default on its debt. We are good on our bills. I don't know, guys. Does Mitch take us up to the edge this time? He's warned them. He warned them, guys, in a letter. It's published. But you know what happens, folks. The Republicans try and be the adult and fiscally this and that. And then when it gets close, like, holy shit, if we actually default on our debt, everybody, the AAA rating that Obama lost gets even worse, and hedge funds in play. The things that could happen with a U.S. government debt default is a nightmare. So you, not me, you have to make a decision on what's going to happen. We have a month, guys. A month in this market seems strategic almost. If people are trading tactically day to day, or I'm not even looking out to next week, I'm just trading for tomorrow. Okay, great. Well, I'm looking out to December 3rd. Guess what also happens on my birthday in December 31st? It's not going to happen this week. Joe Manchin yesterday just put the kibosh on it. He's like, why are we were trying to rush to get things done before he went on his overseas trip. That failed. Why are we rushing even more now? Slow down. He said it on Fox last night with Brett Baer. He's like, throttle the hell back. Here's what I'm getting at. Between now and the end of the year, most likely Manchin and Sinema will do something. If they do something, guys, and it's got at least any of Bernie Sanders and the AOC bullshit in there, end of year tax selling could be an absolute shit show. I'm briefing you on potential threats. Every one of your threats, you can go, not going to happen. They will fix the debt ceiling issue and the taxes won't be as bad. Okay, good. I'm not doing my job if I don't brief you on threats. If I sit here and brief you that isn't a threat, I failed. Does that make sense? They go break. No, Christina, they go on break. They come back for a little bit in December, but it's not like, man, they're going to have to come back in December. So here's what I'm getting at. I was trying to get you to give me a date out here in the future, and as soon as I said the word date, I'm like, oh shit, there actually are a couple dates besides what I was going to get at, which is this is 12/3. Then we got 12/31. What happens in the new year, guys? Let's just put this out here. Let me collapse that. Feb shit show, man. You can take this right here, copy and paste it out to February. That happens almost every year, guys. We get a February shit show. Make sense? And especially, folks, if we get a January earning, if we get Q4 earnings here, guys, that are, hey man, we told you Christmas was going to suck. We get an Amazon like we did okay, but we had to pay people and supply. Folks, if we get Q4 Q4 earnings in January that suck, the February, I'm telling you, man, I feel this. I can be wrong. Let's get that out of the way. Where's you're wrong? We just kept going up. Okay. Yay, we kept going up. My job is to brief you to think critically, and my job is to brief you on all of this, all the potential risks. That's what I am here to do. Does that make sense? Good for you. Wizard just had a monster $110,000 run this year, 170 from the February shit show to now. I'm looking to be out by monthly November expiry, then tactical mode and throttle back for risk. That's the summary of this brief, guys. Goose absolutely nailed exactly how you should be thinking. Well, that's weird. The S&P's up 15, the Dow's up, and the VIX is up. Let's look at the left side of a chart. Freak out, nothing. Freak out, more freak out. Nothing, 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 nothing. You know me, man. The VIX ain't nothing for an extended period of time. Something happens to wake the market up. Market up, VIX up, something is up. Let's take a look at a 6-month VIX. That's perfect. Freak out, freak out, freak out, freak out. Choppy freak out. Nothing. If you were smart, which most of you are, because somebody just asked it and I'll answer it, and shit, I went over and we got to go drive to the airport. John, thanks for the intel about Chicago. He's like, dude, do not walk around Chicago. It's not Chicago anymore. Even Michigan Avenue at night is unsafe. I'm like, oh my God, man. I was going to take the family and walk through the shops. And he's like, don't do it. They got roving bands and all sorts of stuff. No, thanks for the intel, man. I missed it. That sucks. I'm trying tomorrow before we got to drive because it's an hour difference. That always screwed me up living in Chicago, man. I'm like, a couple times I was late to games. I'm like, crap, because it's Central Time, and then Notre Dame's over in Eastern. I would, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hedge the debt ceiling thing, that would be brilliant, in my opinion. I would look at if Mitch takes us to the edge, man, that could be bad. That's weird that there would be no. That's weird. No volume, no open interest at all. Something's wrong with these. There we go. Oh my God. Okay, I'm glad we looked at this. 68, 21, 21, 35, 75, 60. Holy shit. Look at the VIX into the 20s, guys, for the regular December expiration. Wow. This is, people are betting on it. Holy crap. Okay, guys. 100, a 30 strike, 35. Look at the staggering of these, guys. Every $5, $30, $35, $40, 130, 104, 116,000 calls. Oh my God, man. Well, what I was going to say is I'm trying to meet a bunch of buddies. 70. Look at the $5 strikes, guys. Every $5. Wow. 50, 76,000, 60, 32, 74. Holy, I don't think I've seen this much upside VIX call buying. I can't remember the last time I saw this, guys. Woo! January is big numbers too. All right, guys. So this is smart trading. The folks that were on my call yesterday, all of them who said, hey, man, you got to trade the market you have, not the one you want, are stepping. I mean, this is stupid. It can keep doing this. One more time, I'm going to say that. It's most likely going to take a little bit of a breather. It's up to, I don't even know. I'm glad I looked at the VIX today. I haven't looked at the VIX in a while, and that's usually part of my scan, right? Part of my daily scan. I go shop over at the VIX, but I was more concerned about this stuff. But looking tactical, that might be some free money right there, is getting along some VIX calls. And the answer is, I don't know which calls. They are just, what's realistic? Let's take a look at realistic. 25? The last time we had a freak out was up to 25. There's a starting point. Buy some VIX 25 calls. Unbelievable. Wiz, I think the week finish is good. The historic VIX is lowest in November. I will be watching it next week. 11 wow, that would be nuts. Yes, no, the only thing, not the only thing, I had to get out. I turned this into a ratio spread, man. I had to sell my short calls, my 33.25s that were getting blown out, and the 3900s. I couldn't just sell these 33.25 calls because I didn't have the cash. It was going to put me into a margin call. I had to get out of those long Jan 1 calls. So, and then I just sold some 3500s out the Friday to try and do some damage control and bring in maybe $4,700. Yeah, no, I'm holding, man. I'm holding the Tesla and the rut. These are kind of disaster trades if the rut decides to give some back, man. Yesterday's trading in the Russell was insane. The bear call spread finished for max profit, but it was a nail biter. It literally was a nail biter yesterday. It closed at 2404. So that spread closed for $5,100. But my one the day before had a loss of like $49.50, so it's like $150. It ain't worth that type of trading to make $150, guys, and add commissions. I probably lost money. It is, Goose. It's a great way to look at it. The Russell is being driven by what? Meme stocks. Let's just look at. I'm sorry, I'm going long, but and next week I think we're. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Wiz. Thank you. I think we're only doing a brief on Tuesday, man. I'm going to the Wonderland. I land Monday at like noon from Chicago, and I'm going right to Miami. Ponch is going to be down there. We're going to the Wonderland thing, the convention, the psychedelic convention. And then Tuesday, Ponch and I are going to do a podcast. So Tuesday we'll do a brief, but Wednesday I'm flying to San Diego for a black tie gala on Thursday, and then fly back Fridays. The black tie gala is the Navy SEAL event. I think I'm actually at Governor Perry's table. Hopefully, everybody's going to be there. It's in San Diego. It's the Marcus and Amber event. So I think we only got one brief next week because I'm doing on-site research at Wonderland with Ponch. Ponch is on fire with these psychedelic stocks, and most of I'm not going to say most, I'm going to say all of the psychedelic companies, the Mind Meds, the Cybins, the Compass, they're like sponsors of this event. So we're throwing on our flight suits and walking around the damn floors to kiss babies and shake hands. And then I'm flying out to do the same thing. I think a lot of the folks from the event and a lot of people are flying from Miami to San Diego for the Marcus and Amber event. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. So forgot about that. I think only one brief next week if we do that. Harry Dent has an article on psychedelic stocks. Oh, great. They're all going to crash. You got it, Mark. Go Navy. Going to be a good game. Even though Navy sucks this year, they always play Notre Dame hard. It's always a good name. Why can't they find the Russell? There you go. Look at this, folks. You guys were right the other day who said, hey, it's a technical analysis thing. It blew out. Okay. Well, what's the technical analysis thing next say? Well, it doesn't, because this is insanity up here. Exactly. That's my point. So When something's on a tear, either join it or get out of the way. I'm out of the way on the Russell now, but keep an eye on this. Goose is right, though. This is a lot of meme stock-driven stuff in here. So add that to your list. I'd have a RUT. I'd have an SPX. This is how we made millions in the COVID crash, folks. When the market turns for a violent turn, you got to pound the shit into the dirt. All the high flyers. Tesla, Netflix, and even Ma won't be safe. I'm going to manage my Amazon. I'm out of the 3,900 Amazons, guys. That's a big announcement, folks. Because I think Amazon out in the future, it's a great company, it's printing money, all that stuff, but there's an X in here. X is Jerome Powell raising. It's going to be funny to watch that press conference when Jerome Powell raises interest rates for the first time. How do you do it? He did it yesterday. He did a dovish taper yesterday. How do you do a dovish, I'm raising interest rates? I don't know, man. I think the Fed's failing. If you were at the Options News Network in 2008, 2009, I told you this was going to happen. The Federal Reserve has created the biggest moral hazard in our republic. Right? If you're my mom, you can't have a savings account right now. You have to be in the stock market. And when, not if, unless we all just agree, guys. I can be completely wrong. Unless we just completely all agree that it's all bullshit. We know it's all bullshit, but everything just keeps going up. Great. Okay. I can be wrong. I'll write a new book on that. Wiz was wrong. Everything just keeps going up. We're never going to have the Fred Sanford. Unless we do. Unless the market just kind of comes to the realization like, oh my God, man, this is insane. And no amount of central bank printing money or cutting interest rates to below zero can save us at this point. That will be the Fred Sanford. Unfortunately, it'll be horrific for the country. It'll be horrific for these meme traders who've never seen a down market. And why is my broker calling me? And how much do you need by 2 o'clock? That's when we will swoop in and make even more millionaires, right? Until that time, buy everything and everything goes up. I'm not doing my job as a fighter pilot, as an options trader, if I don't brief you on the potential for that day to come. Right now, the point and figure Russell bullish percent chart is on a buy signal for the first time since March. Oh my God, man. There is no way on God's green earth I'm buying the Russell right here. That's just not. It goes against everything I know. It can do that, guys. That ain't me. That's just that's not the way I invest, period. I don't buy stuff when they look like they're at record highs. That's just, I've never seen anything like it. So, all right, good stuff. Sorry I went 15 minutes long, which is bad because I have to go run to the airport. But this was all needed. Managing my Amazon, painful to get out of. The short calls just absolutely got destroyed. Thank God I made some money earlier in the week and last week trading my short calls. This would be great if Amazon's back, but it kind of looks like everything else, doesn't it? It kind of looks like everything else just having a rip your face off rally, which is great, except the underlying. I get it, man. One more time. It was a dovish taper, very dovish taper yesterday. The guy's learned his lesson. He knows taper tantrums suck. He's trying to keep his job, and he knows that he just. It was just so funny to watch the press conference. Everybody knows inflation's raging, including Jerome, but he just doesn't want. He's annoyed if you talk about it. That's weird. That the market's kind of sitting here in reality, watching the dude in charge of this go. Stop paying attention to what's going on. Every sentence. I posted this in the Max Afterburner thing. Every sentence was a contradiction, folks. Inflation is not transitory. It's going to stick around for a while. It's not going to stick around for a while. I was like, what? I was literally, we were laughing on this call. Like, we'd call it. Like, he'd say something bad. I'm like, but wait a minute. And there goes the repair. It literally was a porridge speech. It was an absolute porridge speech. Andrew, as a newbie, I learned to compare my stocks with the market. It pays to pay attention to your surroundings. You got it. Cheating. We are delaying the inevitable. We are absolutely delaying the inevitable. But until it happens, guys,
Be bullish, trade tactically. When it happens, you have got to have your bearish list right next to your computer, and you go pound. You go to pound town, and this is where we make millionaires. Markets go down a hell of a lot faster than they go up. That's where we cut our metal. That's where we show our experience. It's very hard to trade a market. This may sound stupid, but it's very hard to trade a market that keeps going straight up. And that's coming from a dude who literally, I'm not joking. I should have I thought about it, but I was like in my pajamas. The day I put all my shit in the recycling bin, I'm like, I should probably categorize every investment book I threw out. All you do now is, I posted that in the Max Afterburner group yesterday. It's a picture of Jerome Powell. No time for puts. From the James, there it is. No time for puts. It's the James Bond. It's Jerome Powell's James Bond, and it says, no time for puts. Inflation is transitory. That's awesome. Let me just go through my, all right, no real shit here. Sitting on my, that guy's trades a lot of money. I'm out, sitting on my hands. All right, well, there you go. He can be wrong. All right, guys, good stuff. Sorry I went late. I got to get going. I got to go pack and go to Chicago. Go Navy. Go Irish. I actually have a green hat. It's a green hat that says Navy with a shamrock, so I'm going to root for both. And usually they have a great flyby. The last time I was at Navy Notre Dame, it was a 4-ship. It was a division of Hornets. 2 of them were Notre Dame grads, and 2 of them were Academy grads. It's a very, spiritual and patriotic, because if you don't know the history of Notre Dame Navy, Navy kept Notre Dame in business in World War II. The Naval Academy sent a shitload of midshipmen to go to college at Notre Dame because we needed to pump out officers to the Pacific. So Notre Dame was getting ready to shut their doors. So Notre Dame, since that time, has said we will always play Navy. We thank the Naval Academy for helping Notre Dame. So they have a great tradition of support and rivalry. But and I think it's the only team Notre Dame goes and they sing the fight song or the Navy hymn after the game. So they sing to both crowds. All right, guys, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great weekend.